India, they have the star in the making, Vaibhav Suryavanshi, Ayush Mahatre is there. So, who do you think that are the favorites to win this title?
Yeah, we played against India just before coming to World Cup. If we watch a Asia Cup and all of those things, I'm quite for looking at a strong Pakistan side. That's really they've got some real good fast bowlers within that group.
We can't forget that pulsating final in 2024. 7 runs defeat, 7 runs win, I would say. Do you think that they will, forget that heartbreak and will cross that final hurdle this point of time?
As you said, it was a whisker. They were actually playing really great cricket leading into it. And I think, that never say die attitude within the South African side. It was one of those games where David Miller took it at the scruff of the neck.
Hello and welcome to timesofindia.com. We have a legend with us, Paul Adams, who needs no introduction. So thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for inviting me on. Thank you.
Under 19 World Cup is coming up. You are associated with the Namibia cricket team. So how's the atmosphere? How's the team prepared for the mega tournament?
We were the Proteas under 19 side, so we based out in Namibia with our group stages. So yeah, preparations has been really good out in Windhoek. It's been a bit of rain now and again around. So yeah, with these youngsters, just not getting them understanding duck with lures and knowing all those little things, minor things that can affect the match, and also how the result can affect how you stand in the pool as well.
India, they have the star in the making, Vaibhav Suryavanshi, Ayush Mahatre is there. So, who do you think that are the favorites to win this title?
Yeah, we played against India just before coming to World Cup. We've had a series, so they're always going to be bringing a good side to the table. But then, if we watch a Asia Cup and all of those things, I'm quite for looking at a strong Pakistan side. That's really they've got some real good fast bowlers within that group, and it's always going to be those top nations that's going to be competing against each other. Got some good young players in terms of Australia. And as well as and outside of Bangladesh. A few months ago, we played against them as well, and then some good quality cricketers within that group. So yeah, we've done a bit of homework on all of them, seen them. So yeah, we've also preparing in getting into those semi-finals, knockout stages, and anything can go on those days. Yeah.
Whenever we say Paul Adams, that unorthodox action, bamboozling batsman, comes into our mind. That's the thing. So, how's the life post retirement? What are you doing actually? We want to know.
Currently, I'm the spin bowling lead for Cricket South Africa. So I work within the whole high performance space of within Cricket South Africa's cricket space. So working with the under 19s, sometimes moving up and down to various teams. Last year was with, well, year and a half ago was with at the T20 and Women's World Cup. So very much on the road, touring with various teams, and really just keeping active.
We have seen a big rise in South Africa cricket in recent years. What is the reason behind that? Temba Bavuma, the captain, who has done marvelous job for the senior team.
It's been a great journey so far with the Proteas. These last few years of, I think there's been a good focus on our Test cricket side as well, in understanding how they can win Test matches, and how they can go about it. The quality of the players have always been around. It's just getting each one understanding their roles and how they can beat opposition. And that's been great. Building that belief is important amongst, I think, all the different formats. And we can probably look at the last 3 years how South African cricket has really been all the time, either in a final or semi-finals, always there competing and putting ourselves in a position to win a cup. So, and it comes from the women's cricket and the men's. They've been really competitive in that sort of sense as well. So, the cricket all round has been really great, and especially now going into another World Cup of the T20 World Cup coming up now in January. So it's or February, I should say, and it's going to be a good one for South Africa. So I think there's been a lot of prep put in. A lot of these players play a lot of league cricket, play a lot of this format, and you can see how South African cricketers get picked up in those leagues and what roles they play within those teams. So just making them gel together is important for the coach going into the World Cup.
As you mentioned about the T20 World Cup, we can't forget that pulsating final in 2024. I mean, 7 runs defeat, 7 runs win, I would say. That catch actually by Surya changed the course of the game. David Miller was looking solid, and I mean, South African team, missed the title by a whisker. So they will definitely enter this tournament as favorites. Do you think that they will, forget that heartbreak and will cross that final hurdle this point of time?
As you said, it was a whisker. They were actually playing really great cricket leading into it. And I think, that never say die attitude within the South African side. It was one of those games where David Miller took it at the scruff of the neck and nearly won it for South Africa right at the death. But India did need a brilliant innings from Kohli to really, he stood up in that final. So it does take brilliance from your top players and how they can go about it to win. So for me, it's just making sure that they all the time being just competitive and making sure their minds are clear. It's a new tournament, but they take the experiences and what they had, and that's the key thing for me.
How big role spinners will play in Asian subcontinent? Because every side, including Australia and India, everybody, they have announced a spin heavy side for T20 World Cup. So how big role spinners are going to play, and do you think that is it going to backfire? Teams are announcing a spin heavy side.
Generally, the wickets are quite pretty good in T20 cricket. It's if you got that to your armory, if you've got some mystery, if you've got those things, if those spinners can crack a game open in the middle, or either you have specialist guys that can bowl in a power play, that can take wickets up front. So it's all about how you want to make your makeup. Do you go batting deep in terms of playing all-rounders and that? And I think South Africa has looked to, if you look at how the Protea side has been set up, is a lot of all-rounders and going with a lot of batting depth within the teams, so that you can just keep going hard. And I think they've got a lot of explosive players in within that Protea side to show that. So if you look at the spin options within that Proteas, it's Keshav, obviously the main leading spinner for South African RDC, but they've also brought in a George Linder, who's explosive with the bat, and he can bowl in different phases within the T20 game. And Markram will chip in terms of his off spin as well in that. So the options are there. It's just how we utilize them and how we go about it.
Announcing a spin heavy side, do you think that can backfire for teams? I mean, they are thinking that Indian subcontinent or Asian subcontinent will favor spinners, but it might backfire teams in the end. Do you think so, sir?
Yeah, I think if some of those spinners can be all-rounders within that group, then it's a great option to have. Spin bowlers do play. The history tells you they play a big role within subcontinent conditions, and how you want to go use them and utilize them. So they can be match winners on the day. I wouldn't say it will backfire. And I think it's just if you go to the sub, it's going to turn. Making sure that you cover all your bases is important.
Kuldeep Yadav is going to play for India in this tournament, T20 World Cup. Do you think he will be the X factor, or do you want to choose somebody else?
It's dependent on, you got Akshar Patel as well in the mix there. But Kuldeep, for me, is a big match winner. His actually performance has been really great of recent, especially when he played against South Africa now in the recent series. So he does bring that mystery, and his performance has been all the time on the way up of the last, I'd say over the last 2 years has been really great. So yeah, Kuldeep is always a factor in turning the ball both ways, and understanding how you can line him up is key. But yeah, he's been performing for India, so he can be that X factor player that they do have that sort of bowls in key moments outside their power play to take wickets.
The way spinners used to bowl in your era, how much spin bowling has changed today?
It's changed. I think the cricket has always evolved over time, and us as coaches, we always trying to keep with the trends and where it's going, and how the game is changing, and what you need to do to adapt to it. So spin bowlers these days, you can see that they bowl a lot more pace on the ball, but also still generating revolutions on the delivery. So it still has to have an element of drop or movement within the flight in the air, but it just happens a lot quicker through the air. So that for me is always a key thing. It's not about being straight flat trajectory, but you still got to have the revolutions on there to make the ball spin. And that has been a big factor that we've seen over the last year or two so far. Also, the change has been the wrist spinner used to sit up in Test match cricket. Now you see the wrist spinner sitting in the shorter format, more because of the mystery of turning, be able to turn the ball both ways, but bowling it a lot quicker than back in the day. So that mystery is absolutely vital when it comes to the shorter format of the game.